Hello. We're going to take a look at number 1, which is the first homework problem for section 13.1 for the adjusted winner procedure. And this example was put in this text way before Donald Trump was thinking about running for president. So it's interesting that it's in here now. But anyway, in the 1991 divorce of Ivana and Donald Trump, it's widely covered in the media. The marital assets included a 45-room mansion in Greenwich, Connecticut, the 118-room Mar-a-Lago mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, an apartment in the Trump Plaza, a 50-room Trump Tower triplex, and just over $1 million in cash and jewelry. So here we have the points that each one thought was valuable for their split. Okay, here we have same numbers. Now, as we take a look at these, we always want to make sure that these will add up to be 100. So we have 40, 50, 60, and then 40 more is 100 here. We have 50, 60, and 40 more is 100 here. So we do have 100 for both of them. The next step that we do is we allocate the largest number in each category. We'll tentatively go to that person. So as we go through each one, we notice that this bottom one is a tie. So we'll look at that later. But for now, the Palm Beach mansion and the Trump Tower will be for Donald. So that will be 78. And then Ivana will get the Connecticut estate and also the Trump Plaza. So if we add her numbers, she will have 68. Now, when we have a tie, we want to see if that tie can be allocated to the person with the least amount of points and still make them have the least amount of points. So if I give the cash and jewelry to Ivana, her total only becomes 70 and Donald still has 78 points. So that will be awarded to her. The next thing that we do is we're going to take a look at the ratio, the point ratio. And again, it's always the person who has the most points over the person who does not have the points. So we're going to take a look here at 38 over 10 and 40 over 20. Now, again, you can use a calculator for this, but we can see 38 over 10 means we just move the decimal back one place, so it's going to be 3.8. And 40 divided by 20 is 2. This then tells us that we're going to have the allocation be the Palm Beach mansion. So when I take a look at this now, I don't want to add the points for the Palm Beach mansion right now for Donald because we're going to be giving part of that to Ivana. So we need to take that 40 points back away, and right now, tentatively, his points are at 38. We're going to split part of the Palm Beach mansion, so we're going to put that 40 times X, and then the other person always receives 1 minus X, which is the remainder of 100%. So now when I set up my equation, I will have 38 plus 40 times X equals, over here, I have Ivana's points, 70, plus the 20 times 1 minus X. Okay, so this is our equation where we're going to do variables on both sides. I go ahead and I multiply through my numbers here. So I have 20 minus 20x And this will give me 90 minus 20x on Ivana's side. Donald's side stays 38 plus 40x. Nothing to distribute there. Okay, so now I have my variables on both sides. So once again, I want to move my variables on one side and my numbers to the other. So if I add my 20x to both sides, I will have 60x here. And then if I subtract 38 from both sides, I will have 52 here. So now I just have a single variable equation. So I just divide both sides by 60. And I notice that 4 will go into both of those numbers. And if I reduce this by 4, I will get 13/15. Now, before, in the example that we looked at in the book, I said it's always good to kind of divide these two just to get an idea of what percentage that would be. And this would be approximately 87% if I round it. So what does that mean? That means X was assigned to Donald. So Donald will have about 87% control of the Palm Beach mansion. And Ivana, what's 100 minus 87? 13%. Ivana will have 13% control of the mansion. So let's see who so far is getting what. Donald will receive Trump Tower. And he's going to have 87% control of the Palm Beach mansion. Ivana is going to receive the Connecticut estate plus the Trump Plaza and the jewelry and 13% of the Palm Beach mansion. Now that could either mean the value of it, maybe he'll buy her out, that 13% of the value so he can keep it himself. Maybe she'll buy him out so she can have it. But at any rate, that is the percentage split for it to be equal. Now, again, how do we know this is equal? Well, this is where we go back up and we take a look at our 13/15, which is 87%. You could use the 87%, but if you remember, I rounded that. So it's always better to use the 13/15. So when I take my calculator, I'm going to multiply my 40, my number that I split, by 13 over 15. And I like to put parentheses around my fractions because I just don't trust it to calculate it correctly. And I get 34.6 repeating. So this number, instead of 40 now, is 34.6 repeating. Okay? I need to add that number to the 38 that he already had. So my number that needs to be equitable on both sides is 72.6 repeating. So then I need to go over here and I need to take my 20 and I'm going to multiply it by 2/15. How did I get 2/15? Well, Donald had 13/15. So 13/15 plus 2/15 will give me 15/15, 100%. So whatever this number is on the top, you look at your numerator and that's going to be The difference is going to be your numerator on the second one, because these two have to add up to be 1. I take that 20 and I multiply it by 2/15, and I get 2.666. 2.6 repeating. Okay? If I add that 2.6 repeating to my 70, I will then get 72.6 repeating. So both of these numbers are equal. And then what that tells us is, as far as point value, it's fair. Okay, so that is number 1 on page 427 for chapter 13. If you have any further questions, you can text, call, or email.